pretty interesting that tonight you guys are playing the White Sox, and there's a guy in that dugout that made his living doing what you're doing now, and Super Joe McEwen. How difficult is it to be the role that you now are? Like, I saw you taking infield here, you're at second base, you're in the outfield shaking fly balls. Every day not knowing where you might be. Is that easier for you or is that harder?
You know, it's a tough job because you don't know, but it also is a fun job because you get to come in and move all over the field and play different positions. So I like to look at it more as a fun opportunity, you know, to get out there and find ways to get in the lineup.
You know, we hear so many times that being a DH is a difficult job because, you know, in between, you know, at bats, that's all you're focused on. I have to imagine that probably being a utility player is even tougher because over and above, you know, sometimes being on the bench, you might be thrown at first base or, you know, in the same game move to second. Right? How do you stay mentally prepared to deal with it?
Yeah, you know, it's a little different than DH because you might only get one at bat a game, or you might not even get an at bat for 3 or 4 days, and then you get thrown in there. So, you know, you do a lot of work in the cage and just stay ready. Watch a lot of film, know what the pitcher's got that you're going to come in and face, and just try to prepare yourself as best as possible to give yourself the best chance when you get called upon.
People might not know this about you. It's like when people go back, old school guys, utility guys, they were the guys that, you know, really didn't have a position, but you were a college superstar, basically, at shortstop, and you're actually drafted by the Yankees, right?
Yeah.
What went into the decision process not to sign with the Yankees?
You know, they drafted me late my junior year, and you know, after we finished, we lost the Super Regionals that year to Arizona State, and afterwards I was sitting at home waiting for a phone call, and you know, didn't hear from him for a week. So I called our counselor, got registered for classes, called Coach Vanderhook, who's the head coach there now, told him I hadn't heard from the Yankees to get me out somewhere to play summer ball, and I headed out to the Cape and started playing summer ball. And from there, I was playing pretty good, and the Yankees came out afterwards and tried to sign me later, and I was already committed to go back to school. And one of my best friends, Danny Dorn, turned down a significant amount of money to go back to school as well, so we both decided we were going to go back for our senior year.
It's also pretty interesting because they drafted him as a shortstop.
Yeah.
He's a guy there that probably would have been blocking for a number of years, so it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, it turned out good.
You know, last night, you and I got at the Ranger game. I know that during the season, it's a long season, you need distractions, but like when you go to a game like that and you see this city so amped up for playoff type, you know, whatever sport it might be, is that extra motivation for you, or is that something you can draw on and you know, and bring to the team and say, look, you know, this town is unbelievable? Terry mentioned you guys, you know that, you know, looking at when your kids watching on TV or Met Yankee series, you feel that adrenaline. But to be in the middle of it as a fan and seeing what goes on, is that extra motivation at all?
Well, obviously, you know, the atmosphere there last night was incredible. You know, there's so much electricity going through and everyone's fired up. And, you know, we've gotten a taste of that. You know, Harvey Strasburg this year, the fans were incredible. They come out and they have the chants going, you know, Harvey's better and stuff like that. Like, that's the atmosphere that we love and we thrive on. And, you know, through my Twitter account, I try to encourage that as much as possible. Right after the game, I got in there and was like, wow, that was awesome. You know, try to get you guys to come back out. And, you know, I think the more people that show up to the games, the more energy there is, and players definitely feel off that. And it definitely gives us a little advantage playing at home.
And you mentioned your Twitter account, and you're like one of the most popular Mets that are following. Growing up, if there was an athlete that had a Twitter account, who would be the guy that you'd most want to follow?
Oh man, I don't. Any athlete? I think if Muhammad Ali had one, that would be pretty funny. Just from, you know, reading all his old quotes and stuff, I'm sure he'd have some pretty good opinions to give on there.
And as an athlete, I mean, obviously you're young, so growing up, for the new generation, they basically have access to you guys 24/7, and you retweet to fans that send you stuff. You know, how cool would that have been as you were a kid? You know, in California, what team did you? A lot of teams out in California. Which team did you follow growing up?
I grew up going to Angel games, so that was the closest team to me, and grew up watching the Angels.
So could you imagine? I mean, what it would have been like as a kid to be able to tweet to a player and get stuff like that? Do you take that role seriously? I mean, not seriously because you do joke around with the fans as well, but how important is that from a public relations standpoint for you to be a representative of the Mets through your Twitter account?
You know, there's a huge amount of accountability that comes with it, and everything you're doing, everything you're saying, you know, thousands and thousands of people can see it, and it's on the internet immediately. So it's easy to have fun with it. At the same time, you got to be really careful and conscious of you know, what you're saying, because you know there's people out there young kids who could be reading it. So it's something
there's tons of people waiting for you just to slip up once.
Yeah. There's a lot of people out there who just can't wait to catch you, like you said. But you know, some guys, you know, use it to interact with friends and stuff, and you know, try to warn them to be careful with that, because, like I said, you know, there's kids out there watching, and you know, if you want to talk to your friend, just send them a text. You don't need to do it over tweet. So, but it's fun. It's great to interact with the fans and answer questions and hear all the interesting questions they have to ask us.
And lastly, you seem like a super relaxed guy. I mean, the pies in the face, and you seem to keep a bunch of the guys loose. I know it's during BP that, you know, I don't know if you were even aware. There's a guy that's been watching every single batter in the cage today, and that's the GM, Sandy Alderson. You know, it's only natural if your boss is standing, you know, Terry is one of your bosses, but
yeah.
The big boss is standing around. Does that even enter in your mind when you go into the cage or out in the field when he's around?
Yeah, I still like to have fun, and I was even joking with them. You know, Freddie Wilpon was standing with them earlier too, and they played a couple rap songs in a row, and I was asking Freddie if he had his iPod on today for the BP music. So we like to have fun and joke around, and you know, try to be the same all the time. So I think they know that I'm a pretty lighthearted guy and like to smile and like to have fun, and so every once in a while I like to you know, joke around with them too.
And lastly, since you were at the hockey game last night, goalie, defenseman, or forward, which position do you think you'd play if you were a hockey player?
You know, I used to play roller hockey when I was young. I played for 2 or 3 years, and I think I always played forward. But probably forward. I don't know. I want to get down there, get in on the boards, and do that. So.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Justin.